Welcome to part 8 of my review of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, the new resource book that was just released today. We are currently in the subclass review category. If you want to see the playlist of all the previous subclasses that I have reviewed, I'll leave the playlist right up here. But in this episode, we are going to be covering the new options for the Paladin. Before we get started, only a small percentage of you guys who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So consider subscribing. It's free. You can change your mind later if you're enjoying the series. But anyway, let's jump into the review for the Paladin. So here we have the Paladin section, and before we get into the subclasses, let's talk about the new optional class features introduced, starting off with an expanded spell list. They now gain Gentle Repose, Prayer of Healing, Warding Bond, Spirit Shroud, and Summon Celestial. Paladins did have a notoriously low amount of spells, so just getting a little bit extra here, very nice. Let's move on to the new fighting style options that we get. First off, we have Blessed Warrior. You learn 2 cantrips of your choice from the Cleric spell list. They count as Paladin spells for you, and Charisma is your spellcasting ability for them. Whenever you gain a level in this class, you can replace one of these cantrips with another cantrip from the Cleric spell list. So, Paladins finally get cantrips. Can we talk about how big of a deal that is? Now, granted, they are from the Cleric cantrip list, which is a notoriously pretty low power level cantrip spell list. You only have one actual damaging cantrip here of Sacred Flame, but this is still good utility nonetheless. Pretty big deal that we finally got this though. Let's move on. Blind fighting, we saw this with the new fighter options. You have blind sight with a range of 10 feet. Within that range, you can effectively see anything that is not behind total cover, even if you are blinded or in darkness. Moreover, you can see an invisible creature within that range unless the creature successfully hides from you. So same as the warrior or the fighter, pretty good overall. And interception, again, same as the fighter. When a creature you can see hits a target other than you within 5 feet of you with an attack, you can use your reaction to reduce the damage the target takes by 1d10 plus proficiency bonus, minimum of 0. You must be wielding a shield or simple martial weapon for this reaction. So we saw this, the fighter has this, but the Paladin having this, probably a little bit more fitting in my opinion. Still really good to give this to the Paladin overall. So let's talk about the next ability, Harness Divine Power at 3rd level. You can expend 1 use of your channel divinity to fuel your spells. As a bonus action, you touch your holy symbol, utter a prayer, and regain 1 expended spell slot. Level can be no higher than half your proficiency bonus rounded up. The number of times you can use this feature is based on the level in which you've reached in this class. 3rd level once, 7th level twice, and 15th level thrice. You regain all uses when you finish a long rest. Now remember, the Cleric also got this ability. However, because the Paladin is an offcaster, I think that this ability for Paladin is much stronger to gain than for the Cleric, since the Paladin gets way less spell slots, and their spell slots are also much more limited in what they can use. I think that this is definitely much more suited, or at least it's much more powerful on the Paladin than the Cleric. Let's move on to Martial Versatility. We saw this with the Fighter. Whenever you reach a level in this class that grants ability score improvements, you can replace a fighting style with another one. This replacement focuses on your shift to your martial practice. Pretty good for Paladin. Again, being able to change out your abilities, I think, is something that was really good to finally be seeing in this book. Next up, let's look at the new Sacred Oaths. Now, the Oath of Glory Paladin is literally just a reprint from Mythic Odysseys of Theros. I just reviewed that book when it came out. If you want to go see that video, go check it out for the Oath of Glory. I'll leave a link to it somewhere up here. So we're just going to quickly run through these things, not spend too much time on this. If you want to see the full breakdown, again, I'll leave a link to the video reviewing the new subclasses in Theros. But for the Oath of Glory, they get Guiding Bolt, Heroism, Enhance Ability, Magic Weapon, Haste, Protection from Energy, Compulsion, Freedom of Movement, Commune, and Flame Strike. They get Peerless Athlete and Inspiring Smite as a channel divinity options. The Aura of Alacrity, increasing your companion's movement speed if you are not incapacitated. Glorious Defense, you can increase a target's AC if they are subject to an attack. And Living Legend, you gain a bunch of bonuses for 1 minute. Again, not going to waste too much time on this. Let's talk about the new option that they have given us in Tasha's Cauldron and Everything, the Oath of the Watchers. So let's start off with the Oath spells that you gain in the Watchers. First off, you get Alarm, Detect Magic, Moonbeam, See Invisibility, Counterspell, Non-Detection, Aura of Purity, Banishment, Hold Monster, and Scrying. Pretty solid. Giving Paladins Counterspell could be slightly problematic, but I think it'll be okay. Let's go over the Channel Divinity. 3rd level, you gain 2 different Channel Divinity possibilities. First off, we have Watcher's Will. You can use your Channel Divinity to invest your presence within the warding power of your faith. As an action, you can choose a number of creatures you can see within 30 feet of you, up to a number equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1. For 1 minute, you and the chosen creatures have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. So just flat advantage on a bunch of different saves for a single minute. Pretty good use of your Channel Divinity. Next up, Abjure the Extraplanar. That's a mouthful. You can use your Channel Divinity to castigate otherworldly beings. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend within 30 feet of you that can hear you must make a wisdom save. On a failed save, the creature is turned for 1 minute or until it takes damage. Now notice it says or fiend, so you have to pick one of these. Granted, you probably don't ever need to use this as a catch-all in any scenario. If you're fighting one of these, you're probably fighting a bunch of a single type of enemy. So still pretty good. It is a turn undead, but turn literally anything that you decide you want to turn. The turn creature must spend its turns trying to move as far away from you as it can, and it can't willingly end its move into space within 30 feet of you. For its action, it can only use the dash action or try to escape from an effect that prevents it from moving. If there's nowhere to move, a creature can take the dodge action. So render a whole group of a specific type of enemy useless if they don't make their saves, of course. Very nice Channel Divinity ability. These two are really strong and good utility. Good utility here. Next up, let's go Aura of the Sentinel, a 7th level feature. You emit an aura of alertness while you are not incapacitated. When you and any creatures of your choice within 10 feet of you roll initiative, you gain a bonus to initiative equal to your proficiency bonus. So at level 7, you're automatic. You and probably the majority of your party, as you're probably all going to be within 10 feet of each other, are all going to gain a +3 bonus at base to your initiative rolls. This is really good for level 7. Very balanced. I like this. Next up, we have Vigilant Rebuke at 15th level. You've learned how to chastise anyone who dares wield beguilements against you and your wards. Whenever you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you succeeds on an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma saving throw, you can use your reaction to deal 2d8 plus your charisma modifier force damage to the creature that forced the saving throw. Now, granted, this obviously is meant to be paired with your Channel Divinity Watcher's Will up here, giving all of your friends advantage on each of those saves, so then you can pair it with Vigilant Rebuke, deal the damage against the creature that made the save. Really nice pairing of abilities here. Good job. And for your 20th level, the capstone ability, as it were, for Paladin, we have Mortal Bulwark. You manifest a spark of divine power in the defense of the mortal realms. As a bonus action, you gain the following benefits for 1 minute. You gain True Sight out to 120 feet. You have advantage on attack rolls against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fays, and fiends. Surprised Undead is not on that list, but anyway. When you hit a creature with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can also force it to make a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature is magically banished to its native plane of existence if it's not currently there. On a successful save, the creature cannot be banished by this feature for 24 hours. Once you use this bonus action, you cannot do so again until you finish a long rest or you use a 5th level spell slot to use it again. So at your max level spells, you will require to use this again. So a couple things to note with Mortal Bulwark here is True Sight, the best type of vision you can get. Really good addition there. Advantage on attack rolls against all of these creatures is fantastic. It means you will be able to probably activate the 3rd part of this ability, being your forced charisma save to banish it. Now take note, it doesn't function like banishment, the spell, because after 1 minute the banished creature comes back to the plane, the material plane. This is permanent. So in the right scenario, in the right campaign, I could see this being extremely powerful. However, it's very niche and you get it at level 20. That is the problem. Capstone abilities for Paladins are supposed to be really powerful, which in the right scenario, this is, but it's super niche and almost no games, 10% of D&D games go past level 10. How many games go to level 20? Now, should that take precedent in reviewing this class? I think it should, my personal opinion. If you're running a level 20 campaign in Hell, by all means, run your Mortal Bulwark and send all the devils back to their planes of existence. But I think that while this class is good, I think it's a bit I think that at least for the new one, the Oath of the Watchers, I think it's a bit too niche to be pretty powerful compared to some of the other Paladin subclasses we have seen to date. That being said, still nice flavor overall from Wizards printing this class. I really like it. I think in the right campaign, this is a fantastic choice for a Paladin subclass. That being said, probably so far the weakest we've seen yet, but we can't, they can't all be winners. I'll just say that much. But guys, that is going to be my review of the new Paladin options and subclass with the reprint of the subclass from Theros. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment down below on what you think. Am I missing something with this Paladin subclass? Is this stronger than I'm giving it credit for? I would love to hear your guys' opinions in the comments down below, so leave them down there. And subscribe again, because we got a lot more videos of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything coming up very soon. And until next time, guys, have fun, stay safe, and as always, happy gaming.